What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Jericho Report Weekly News Briefing. It is Sunday, the 11th of July, 2021. How's everybody doing? I'm grateful to be here. Big storm came through St. Louis yesterday. Last night, midnight or so, power went out. Been out since 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh, what a mess. We had the little Yeti solar-powered thing, kept our phones and fans going, but, you plug in the solar panel when there's overcast. Doesn't want to charge. Anyway, it was a nice wake-up call. Those of us who live here on the electronic frontier, we really need to spend some time in the dark to know what it's going to be like when shit actually hits the fan. So to anyone else out there who's suffering with storm damage and stuff like that, hey, the storms are ripping the Midwest, man. I feel you. Trees down, power lines down everywhere. Shout out to Ameren UE for getting our power back on, because around noontime it was getting awfully hot and humid in here. Anyway, this week's report full of New World Order, same old. It's just getting worse as the days go by. Like I said, it is the 11th of July, 2021. As always, the first link below will take you over to the Patreon post. Let's get into the news. The Lambda variant raises concern due to unusual mutations. Never mind the Delta. Now we got the first thing when I saw Lambda, I wanted to go watch Revenge of the Nerds. I'll put a link to this. Olympics banned spectators after Japan declares state of emergency. Oh my God, it's going to kill everyone again. Unvaccinated people, of course, we're going to be blamed for this nonsense now. Are the variant factories infectious disease expert? Oh, we're germs. We're spreading germs that are going to kill everyone. Let's see. These deaths could have been prevented. Unvaccinated parts of the country are now driving the pandemic. Yes, now the unvaccinated people are the problem. You knew we would be. Meanwhile, up in Canada, the first lady who got vaccinated in Canada has died. Funny thing, wasn't the guy over in the UK, what was his name? William Shakespeare, the first one to get the vaccine? He died as well, didn't he? You could say, well, these people are older, and, rest in peace and all this. But 45-year-old Johns Hopkins Hospital employee dies after reaction to mandatory COVID shot. She was kind of young. What happened there? The Guardian says people dying from the COVID vaccines is proof that they work. Oh, my God, they actually reported the truth. I'll put a link to this from the net. They're not lying. Vaccinated Israeli student catches COVID from vaccinated relative, then infects 83 high school students. But they're vaccinated. What are you talking about? mRNA vaccine technology now moves to the flu vaccine. Be advised, all vaccines from here on out are going to go mRNA. So, when you get your yearly flu shots and your yearly this and that. Fauci says not getting COVID-19 vaccine is political statement and calls on Americans objecting to shots to get over themselves amid rise in Indian Delta variant. I would love to get Fauci alone in a room just for 20 minutes so that he can tell me to my face that I need to get over it, not wanting poison put into my body. This asshole. There is other news going on in the country. Baltimore police chief calls for more boots on the ground to handle crime wave. Meanwhile, up in Chicago, they had the most violent weekend of 2021. 104 shot, 19 killed, 13 kids among the wounded. It's madness! Over to financial news. How a major U.S. stock indexes fared on Friday. Looks like the Dow rose 448 points, closed at 34,870. No 35,000 this week on the Dow. For the week, it was only up 83 points, so pretty flat week for the Dow. Put a link to the market recap data. I can't live on $709 a month. Americans on Social Security push for its expansion. How about we raise taxes, too? Biden vows to raise taxes on fossil fuel companies as gas prices spike. Indeed. Biden White House, however, isn't having any problem paying for their gas. Biden has the most expensive White House payroll in history. Charge it up. Charge it to the people. The IRS is adding 90,000 soldiers for an upcoming war. What? War on what? War on you, the American people. Don't you know? San Francisco Target's closing early due to rise in thefts. I got an idea. Let's just steal what we want. Meanwhile, this happened. Where was this? Union Square, San Francisco, Neiman Marcus. It's like the movie Burglar. I seen him. It was coming out of the store. It was stealing handbags and purses. And it's madness out in California. What does Jeff Bezos, world's richest man, know? He just all of a sudden quit as Amazon CEO. Is he going underground? I don't know. Pelosi's husband knew something. Talk about insider training. Bought Amazon calls before Pentagon, Jedi, something, insider, all that. Nobody ought to be held accountable. Speaking of, China upped its donations to the Biden Center 400%, 50 million in donations after Biden announced his campaign. What's new there? A billionaire investor says the U.S. should learn from China's authority Put a link to that, and I got one more here. Wells Fargo unexpectedly shuts all existing personal lines of credit, hitting U.S. economy on edge. I wonder what's going on there. I don't know, but I know what's going on here. New World Order and Police State News. This is where I stop and ask you to share this video because there's important stuff coming up here, people. Biden's door-to-door. Did you know this? The Biden administration is now going to send the vaccine door-to-door. Might be viewed as confrontational. No, come to my front door. You know what? 10 years ago, we told people this shit was going to happen, and they called us crazy. Now, they're bringing the needle to your fucking door. Hello? Put a link to it. How crazy do we look now? Biden administration official, it's absolutely the government's business to know whether you've been vaccinated. Really? Put a link to that. French government considers making COVID vaccine mandatory for everyone 24 to 59. Put a link to that. New Zealand's going to hunt down those not vaccinated. Again, how crazy do we look? Not just a U.S. problem, a worldwide problem. You know why? Because it's called the New World Order. Put a link to it. You're not immune to it no matter where you are on the planet. The COVID vaccine could soon be mandatory in the U.S. Here's something not a lot of people think about. You know, up to this point, these vaccines have been under emergency use authorization, right? What happens when the FDA clears these for actual use? You know what happens? Everybody mandates. It'd be just like the chicken pox or anything else, right? So be advised, pretty soon, this is going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. mRNA technology pioneer blasts big tech censorship. This guy says, well, you know, big tech, they're censoring because they're the dangers of these things. They're not letting people know. Hey, guy, how does it feel to be one of the people responsible for this shit? Put a link to this. FAA fines airline passenger more than $10,000 for refusing to wear a mask. I didn't know the FAA could actually fine people. Put a link to that. Quebec could mandate vaccine passports entering restaurants and bars come September. Be advised, my friends, up to the north. Outrage is NPR. We got attack on the Declaration of Independence. Some 4th of July bleed over here. Facebook roasted for blocking hashtag revolution on Independence Day weekend. Got a couple more here. Deranged tyrant nominated to head the ATF says anyone uttering hate speech online should have their guns confiscated by armed federal agents. I recently watched the Waco series again. I recommend everybody do that. No matter what you thought of David Koresh and the Branch Davidians, what happened there was fucking wrong, man. FEMA, be advised. At the end here, FEMA and FCC plan nationwide emergency alert test for August 11th. False flag or just a test? I don't know. Be advised. I'm sorry for my language. That's just one thing that bothers me every time I start looking at all the Waco stuff again, even though it was so long ago. There's one thing that always rings true no matter what you thought about any of those people. There's one thing that's very true. ATF, FBI, everyone was alive before you got there. Anyway, over to World War III news. U.S. troops abandoned Bagram Airfield. Everybody knows that we're pulling out of Afghanistan, but apparently we didn't tell the Afghan forces. I'll put a link to this. Check this out. Afghan troops film laying down arms. The U.S. general overseeing NATO says he's shocked how quickly they surrendered. Apparently they're surrendering to the Taliban. I got a couple more on this. Taliban say they now control 85% of Afghanistan. What the vacuum hell that is going to be. Sky News shows Taliban seizing abandoned U.S. bases, treasure trove of weapons and ammo. Why we leave all this stuff? Of course, fund both sides of the war. You know how we do. China makes move on Afghanistan. Beijing preps to fill the vacuum left by Biden's premature military exit. Put a link to this. Speaking of China, we got China may be building more than 100 new nuclear missile silos in the Western Desert, but only in response to American aggression. Put a link to that. My friend F-Town over at Endgame WW3, definitely follow him for World War III news. U.S. orders amphibious assault ship into the Black Sea after Moscow warns tensions escalating dangerously. Put a link to this. Be advised, World War III talk all over the world. Japan warns U.S. of Pearl Harbor-style attack from China and Russia could happen. Put a link to this from American Military News. 2 attacks in less than 12 hours apart target U.S. forces in Iraq. That from J-Post. Haiti, the president of Haiti was apparently assassinated, and the police are in gun battles with them amid fears of chaos. No doubt. Okay, I don't even know what to say about that. 45 dead, dozens rescued after military transport plane crashes in the Philippines. Did it have anything to do with a blood clot? I don't know. Meanwhile, back home in the United States, the U.S. Army is preparing for mandatory COVID-19 vaccines by September, report says. Over to Earth changes in 2012 news. Now I got the earthquake set up for 6 points and above for the past week. We had a 6.2 out of Indonesia. We had a 6.0 in El Dorado County, California. So some big quakes shaking on the West Coast. Put a link to the earthquake data. A lot of 5 points out there. Mud volcano causes large explosion in the Caspian Sea. Did you see this thing? There's some video of this thing blowing up. Looked like a nuclear bomb went off over there. Upcoming western heat, U.S. Heat wave could be hotter ever recorded on Earth. Be advised, it's hot in the western, all over the United States, actually. Over in Kuwait, registers the highest temperature on Earth for 2021, 53.2 degrees Celsius. What is it, like 120, 130 something Fahrenheit? Put a link to that. So it's getting hot on the planet. Explosion at the ports sends tremors across the city. I put a link to this. More shit blowing up this week back in the United States. We had fireworks accidentally explode Ocean City, Maryland beach. Kaboom! Sorry, no fireworks displayed tonight. Pet owners, this story highly upset me. Pet owners seek to delay demolition of Florida condo tower. The rest of the building that they had to tear down, people wanted to get their pets out. Look at this. Miami judge denies request to allow pet rescue before condo demolition. This pissed me off so much. What does it say about human beings that we can't get our pets out of the part of the building that's still standing? Yeah, it's probably not structurally sound, but you can't tell me something couldn't have been done to save people's pets. They just perished in the explosion. Bullshit. Anyway, put a link to that. SpaceX launching a rocket the size of the Statue of Liberty. This coming up from the Observer. China plans mass rocket launch to divert asteroid that could wipe out life on Earth. Best thing that could fucking happen, in my opinion. Sorry, declassified Australian USO report involves cat-faced dwarf aliens, and be advised there's a snake on the loose. Snake search all over a mall, Louisiana. Carla Python. Okay, they found safe. I'm sorry, but what asshole judge actually says, nope, we got no time for your pets. There's a little tropical storm coming. We got to get the rest of the... No, I'm sorry. Something could have been done to save those pets. That pisses me off. Any pet owner, anybody out there with a heart, with any sort of compassion for pets, how can you just let the building crush the pets? Over to strange and bizarre news. I got some strange stuff this week. Woman attacks ticket agent at airport. Where did this happen at? I think this happened down in Orlando. Apparently the ticket agent got this lady upset. She went behind the counter just picking keyboards and computers. Like, I ain't taking this crap no more. We got this going on. Where did this happen at? Just another day in D.C. This is reported out of D.C. Naked man ripping a bumper off a car. I mean, these cars are just made so cheaply nowadays. Put a link to that. FBI seized fully constructed U.S. Capitol Legos set from alleged riot leader. Look out, men, he's got Legos. Get the SWAT team. This lady, I'm kind of torn in the middle. I feel bad for her, but, at the same time, you're like, it's just fireworks. I don't know. She's losing her mind because people are setting off fireworks in the neighborhood. You got to take into account people that might have some sort of mental disability, but... I don't know. Your thoughts? Violence in LA erupts after viral video of complaint about trans woman disrobing in spa. I had a story last week. Apparently people are in the streets upset over it, burning stuff up. World's first fully transgender family urges others to be true to themselves. World's first fully transgender family. Moment of silence. Store clerk guns down shoplifter over 4 packs of Red Bull. Indiana cops say he shot him in the head. He's now charged with murder for what? Stopping a shoplifter. Put a link to that. New Jersey man charged with harassment after yelling racial slurs, spitting on black neighbor. Has history of harassing local community. Well, people showed up and smashed the shit out of his house. Put a link to that. Left trash all over the place. Girl 15, tragic story here, killed after jumping out of moving car on interstate while arguing with mom. Put a link to that. Pro golfer shot and killed on Georgia golf course. Not even safe on the golf course. Put a link to that. We got half-naked man sets church on fire in Los Angeles. Hops from rooftop, scales utility. What? Put a link to that. Meanwhile, speaking of the church, we got human Satan has finger removed and tusk added. Latest body modification. This guy... It's beyond me, people. For all the news, please check out my favorite videos. The U.S. women's soccer team taking a knee. To me, they should be disqualified. They're there representing the United States, right? And they take a knee to the to the national anthem. To me, that should be disqualifying. I don't support them. Woman trashes Asian-owned liquor store over cell phone. urgent vaccine. This from 2009. Go back and listen to what that guy had to say. Joanna Johnston put out a great video. Biden's door-to-door vaccine plans. Dimcad's got one over there. Thank you to everybody who continues to put out videos, keeping everybody informed. Those of you that are still around, I appreciate you guys, and I love you to death. And, you know, just want to throw this out there again. Where is everyone else who was around 10 plus years ago when we were talking about these things, but we were crazy and now they're happening? Where are all the voices in the wilderness from back then? I don't hear from hardly anybody anymore. Just a handful of us around. Anyway, I got a couple shout-outs this week. Shout out to rocker Richard Ashcroft. I don't even know who that is, but he cancels his appearance at a festival with COVID vaccine requirements, saying they don't own me. Right on. And shout out to this journalist, a real journalist over in Australia, is asking this lady, why are we in such a panic when there's only been a couple cases? Let me just play a little bit of this. Shout out to this journalist.
Dying around the world, and we've also had 4 deaths here in Australia.
You know, there's not been one community transmission that's led to death in this country all year.
I'm here to provide information.
Shouldn't we dial down the panic? A journalist, actually, if every journalist in the world were asking these questions, this whole thing, the whole New World Order, the pyramid, the whole thing couldn't even exist. But they're all just reading the script. Shout out to this journalist for bringing it real over in Australia. And she makes this lady, she had to admit that there's 4 whole people in Australia that have been affected by it. Anyway, that's all I got. If you like the report, please give me a thumbs up or thumbs down if you think it sucked. It's the worst of YouTube. You never want to see again. Please rate it. Helps it move around. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, BitChute. All my links are at the bottom. Make sure you're following me everywhere. You can support me on Patreon or directly with PayPal. I put a lot into these reports, and these reports are not advertiser friendly. YouTube says I'm spreading dangerous content. I'm making damaging, harmful content by telling you what's going on and giving my opinion about it. That's somehow harmful. So anyway, any support, much appreciated. Tell me your thoughts on everything going on. The vaccines are coming to your door, folks. Sorry for the strong language that I use in this video, but I think it's very warranted. In fact, my language will probably only get worse as the year progresses. So those of you who can't take it, I don't know, maybe you want to watch something else. But I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it, when I make these videos, it's flowing out of my brain, man. I self-censor myself to a certain point. I'm not going to come up and MF this and that. I'll be respectful to a certain point. But at a certain threshold, I got to get real with you, because this is real shit we're living through. Tell me your thoughts. You guys take care, stay safe. If you're in the line of any storms, please be prepared. Have candles, have solar power, have whatever. Check your preps. And, be ready for anything, because anything can happen at any moment. You guys take care, stay safe, have a good week. I love you very much. I will see you on the next one.